Stillwater, Fort Worth, Manhattan, Lawrence, and Waco. We got them.
All right, we got them all. Okay, we're only a few games into the grind. That is the Big 12 schedule, where everybody plays everyone. 2 top 10 teams are getting ready for a showdown in the only second weekend of play, Rob.
Yeah, already, man, getting after it. Sports team assemble. Check out this lineup, folks. Full coverage for you from your favorite Big 12 teams across 5 states. Let's get her done. We start with that monster matchup at the Phog.
Yeah, it's a top 5 battle between Baylor and Kansas and Lawrence. Saturday, Baylor hasn't had success in Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah, let's look back at Kansas's start in the conference play. They needed 40 minutes from Devon Dotson to beat a very good West Virginia team 60-53. It was a tough physical game for the opener. Udoka Azubuike led with scoring, 17 points, 11 boards. Bill Self said his team had to turn it around the second half.
The second half, like I said, we just gonna have that mindset to just go out there and just play our type of basketball, and I just went over there and just tried to rebound the ball, and my teammate did a good job too.
They were so much more physical than what we probably thought they would be. Not the coaches, but the players. And I think we were shocked. I think we were shell shocked initially, and we were lucky we got to 6 at halftime, and then after it was at 6, the second half we were a lot better. We handled it a lot better second half.
Indeed, it did. Transition to Wednesday night. No problems for the Jayhawks in Hilton Coliseum. They took control in the last 5 minutes of the first half. Never looked back. 79-53 win over Iowa State. Dotson led that game with 20 points. David McCormick added 16, and Dotson said after the game, it was a team effort.
You know, team first, and we had a game plan, and we wanted to stick to that. And, you know, the guys came out strong. We defended. And, you know, I feel like we played pretty good today, and if we carry that on, it can be dangerous. You know, I wanted to set the tone for the team and set a great example because, you know, as a point guard, you know, you can get the players going out there, your other teammates. So I just wanted to, you know, set the tone, and the guys will follow.
All right, Harold, the other half of that huge game upcoming on Saturday, the Baylor Bears on a roll.
Yeah, they definitely are. Matt Roberts, KWKT in Waco's covering the Bears.
The 4th-ranked Baylor Bears wasted no time jumping into the thick of their Big 12 battle, dispatching of Texas on Saturday and following that up with a massive road win in Lubbock on Tuesday night in a defensive slugfest against Texas Tech.
We knew it was going to be a rock fight. You had 2 great defenses and 2 teams that really pride themselves on the defensive end.
I just played as hard as I could, as normal as I just hard, you know, so. Everybody's starting to notice I play with extreme hardness, and the team that we have now, everybody loves to play defense.
The Bears have now won their 11th straight game, which is the 5th longest winning streak in program history. And in this 18-round fight, Baylor is stacking wins in whatever fashion they can find them.
Each year, successful seasons usually come down to your close games, how you do. And what we've been most proud about this team so far is win, lose, close, not close. They've showed up and competed, and in every game they've competed.
Baylor already in the top 5, stating their case to be the #1 team in the country, and could really solidify that argument with a win on Saturday afternoon against the 3rd-ranked Jayhawks in Lawrence, something this team has never done in Allen Fieldhouse. For all Big 12 Courtside in Waco, I'm Matt Roberts.
All right, Matt, thank you. West Virginia starting conference play with back-to-back roadies.
Yeah, it's a big-time turnaround from last season for the Mountaineers. How about Nick Farrell? WV Illustrated has an update on Bob Huggins' squad.
West Virginia won just 15 games a season ago and ended up playing in the CBI. It's a much different story this season, though, for the Mountaineers with Big 12 conference play underway. Number 17 WVU is 12-2 overall, and with 6 games remaining in January, it's likely the Mountaineers will match or surpass last year's win total before the end of the month. A big reason for the resurgence, freshman forward Oscar Tshiebwe. He leads the Mountaineers in scoring, averaging about 12 points per game, and is second on the squad in rebounds, averaging just under 10 per game. And Tshiebwe has earned the Big 12's Newcomer of the Week award an impressive 3 times so far this campaign. West Virginia went 1-1 to open Big 12 play. It fell to Kansas by 7 before defeating Oklahoma State 55-41 in one of the program's best defensive outings of the last 35 years. Next up, WVU hosts number 22 Texas Tech Saturday, January 11th, followed by a late-night clash with TCU Tuesday, January 14th. That's the latest on the Mountaineers. For All 12 Courtside, I'm Nick Farrell in Morgantown.
All right, Nick, thank you much. Along with KU, Baylor, and West Virginia, Texas Tech is the other Big 12 team in the top 25 this week. We check in on the Red Raiders with David Collier from KAMC in Lubbock.
After opening up Big 12 play with a resounding 35-point win against Oklahoma State, the competition stepping up a notch on Tuesday night with fourth-ranked Baylor in town. The defensive struggle went the way of the Bears, 57.
All right, apparently David Collier there cut out for us, so we're going to move on here on All 12 Courtside. We're going to go with West Virginia. They started conference play. Actually, we're going to Iowa State here. Look at the scoreboard there. Iowa State, TCU. That was the final earlier this week, 81-79.
Yeah, TCU had former assistant Corey Barker accused of accepting bribes from a business manager. Fired Barker. TCU fired back in March. They fired him for the indictment case involving former Adidas consultant Merle Code. But you saw they did beat Iowa State at home in 2 points in overtime, 81-79. And then they went to Manhattan, beat up on K-State by 2. It was a tip-in by Kevin Samuel with less than 2 seconds left. TCU now 11-3, but no out-of-conference wins of note. We now go to Oklahoma. The Sooners and the Cowboys are going in different directions. OU undefeated in conference play. OSU still looking for its first conference win. Here's Dylan Buckingham with K4 in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma entered this season with just 3 players on the roster who had played in a Big 12 basketball game. That has not been an issue for the Sooners so far this season, including Austin Reeves. The Wichita State transfer had just 3 points at the half against Kansas State. But an 18-point outburst in the second helped OU overcome an 11-point deficit en route to a 66-61 win over the Wildcats. Despite the youth, Reeves says the credit on the success goes to their coach, Lon Kruger.
Coach has been preaching all week about to all of us that haven't played in the Big 12, and I mean, he's just telling us that how physical it's going to be, and that we gotta take every second on the court as is our last. I mean, because that's how fast a game can change in the Big 12. I mean, you could be up 2 and then down 8 if you relax for 2-3 minutes.
Kruger hadn't won in Austin, Texas since 2015, but his Sooners did that, taking down the Horns 72-62, thanks due in large part to Oklahoma's only senior, Christian Doolittle. He had 22, which led Oklahoma. Jamal Bieniemy had his best game of the season, 11 points, and Davion Harmon, the freshman, who once started this year, now coming off the bench, made the most of his second half, scoring all 9 of his points to help OU take down the Horns. But maybe the most important news of the week is OU's bringing back beloved mascot Top Dog. He made his debut in the 1980s but disappeared after the 2004 season. He'll be reintroduced against Kansas inside the Lloyd Noble Center. The news, not as good for Oklahoma State. The Cowboys limped out of the gate in Big 12 play, dropping 2 contests to ranked teams. Texas Tech blitzed OSU by 35. Only Lindy Waters got into double figures for OSU in the loss. And with 3 seniors starting, one of them, Cam McGriff, said OSU simply just has to be better.
We had some careless turnovers early, so I mean.
All right, well, we'll get back to Oklahoma State, maybe.
Hey, it's our first rodeo here, man. We're having some issues, dude.
Things are happening. The video just doesn't want to get to them for some reason. Hey, let's try Kansas State now. It's another team struggling out of the gate in conference play. So far, overall, they're at 7-7, 0-2 in conference. It's been a tough one for Bruce Rubber's club.
Yeah, most definitely, and K-State fans have certainly known the script. They get out ahead, get behind, can't catch up. Our buddy Pete Francis with KSNT is in Topeka covering the Cats.
After winning a share of the Big 12 regular season title last year, the K-State Wildcats are struggling to find their identity this season. The Wildcats saw a late lead disappear in the Big 12 opener against Oklahoma and suffered a 2-point loss to TCU. That drops K-State to 0-2 in the Big 12. Now the Cats sit at just 7-7 overall, and Bruce Weber thinks the team needs to play smarter.
You know, you just keep hurting yourself. You know, give yourself a chance. And so it's just, it's frustrating, disappointing for the guys. They care. They prepare to win. That's why we're close. The coaches do a great job. You know, you can blame it on youth, new, whatever, and that no one wants to hear that. It's just we got to get better.
We just got to be on our horse, being more active, being more competitive, and just having that edge in that fight, especially now being 500 right now. So we got to get some wins, got to get some toughness to us. Just getting back some more, watching film, getting these guys ready and focused in on what's coming hand at Texas coming up next. Just getting a dub there at Texas, that's our big mindset right now.
Saturday's game at Texas is a 7 o'clock tip-off. That's what's going on in Manhattan. For All 12 Courtside, I'm Pete Francis. Back to you in KC.
All right, Pete, thank you. Another team, surprisingly, Iowa State, still searching for a conference win.
Yeah, didn't get the Hilton Magic against KU, and we got the Cyclones covered for you. Mark Freund from WHO in Des Moines.
Iowa State's 79-53 loss to Kansas highlighted one of the Cyclones' biggest deficiencies. ISU is not very good defensively. In games against major conference opponents, the Cyclones are giving up more than 80 points per game. On Wednesday, Iowa State allowed the Jayhawks to shoot 52%.
It's 25-23. The last 8 minutes of the first half is where the game was won and lost. We really struggled to score. We got stagnant, but they physically just kind of overwhelmed us from three and in the paint that last 8 minutes. That was really the difference in the game. Second half was just kind of a little bit of back and forth.
We didn't get a stop and couldn't score, so it's not a recipe for success at all, and that really hurt us in that last 8 to 12 minute stretch in the first half.
And we still just aren't getting it done defensively. 10 for 19 from three for them, and 28 for 54 from the field overall. So I think again, it's just comes down to defense.
We got to be tougher. We got to schematically as a coach. I got to figure out different schemes, and then we got to go out and execute and be tough-minded. I like our guys. I believe in our guys. We got to figure out how to get the swagger and toughness back on the defensive end.
Iowa State is in a hole, no doubt. 0-2 in the Big 12 with another big home game against Oklahoma coming Saturday. For All 12 Courtside, I'm Mark Freund in Ames.
All right, thanks, man. Texas, another school sitting at the bottom of the Big 12, Mr. Texas.
Yeah, they are. Roger Wallace from KXAN in Austin gives us an update on the Horns.
Tough start here in Austin for the Longhorns, losing that Big 12 opener to Baylor, and then on Wednesday night losing to Oklahoma 72-62, a game they led by 9 twice in the first half, hit their first 4 3-pointers, but after that, OU closed out the half on a 14-4 run. In the end, Texas just 8 of 29 from 3, just not enough production inside. Jericho Sims had a double-double again. He was 6 of 9 from the field, but other than that, it's pretty much all guards, and their 4 primary guards were just 14 of 44 from the field in the loss. Here's Shaka Smart.
It's a game we're up 29-20 in the first half. Really playing well offensively, sharing the basketball. Obviously they were making some plays, making some shots, but you're up 9 points, and that's a point in the game where you got to grab hold of it and go take the game, and we obviously didn't.
So now Texas closes out this mini 2-game homestand against Kansas State early on, but probably a must-win at this point. Longhorns fall to 10-3 on the season. After Kansas State, they hit the road to Oklahoma State. That's the story in Austin. Back to you in Kansas City.
All right, appreciate it, and appreciate everybody helping out on this day. A check at the standings. We got Baylor and KU, TCU, OU, all undefeated. West Virginia and Texas Tech in the middle at 500, Rob.
Yep, and quartet of teams looking for the first wins. We talked about Texas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Kansas State. So a season starting to get ramped up, and we talked about at the top of the show, big-time matchup on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one over there at Fall Allen, Baylor and KU. You don't often see the biggest matchup, potentially, of the year going on earlier in the season in conference play, but that's the case right now as the rankings fall here in the Big 12.
All right, we'll have it covered for you right here on All 12. Thanks to all of our contributors at Nexstar Nation, and we'll see you next week right here, All 12 Courtside.